can't keep it in your pants. I will stalk you and make sure you fail at everything. And I won't stop it until I'm unalive. A friend of mine told me my story belonged there. So here we go. In my country, high school starts at the age of 15 and lasts 3 years. I was a year early, so I was 14. During the first weeks of school, a guy in my class, for the sake of this story, I'll call him Connor, approached me, and we started getting along to the point where we quickly started dating. Little did I know Connor would become my worst nightmare for the next 3 years. He was 17 when we met, and just like a lot of guys this age, he was obsessed with doing it. He pressured me into having my first time with him, and he broke up with me right after I eventually gave in. After that, none of our next intercourses were consented to. He was very manipulative and gaslit me into believing I wanted everything that was happening to me. It took me a while to understand what he was actually doing. In fact, I only got it after hooking up with another person at the age of 17. Before it finally hit me, he had his way with me more than 50 times. During our second year of high school, he made the mistake of forcing himself violently on my best friend. She ended up getting an abortion because of him, and I started plotting my revenge. Originally, it was supposed to avenge her, but it ended up working for me as well. I noticed that not only would he only approach the first years, even if he was 20 when I graduated, but he would also target the youngest girls among them too. He was repeating to me how much more attractive I was at 14 than at 17. So, knowing that it was pointless to tell the police because in my country only 0.4% of all complaints of AITA where victims are less than 15 end up in jail, I ruined his reputation. I told every single one of his acquaintances that he was a rapist, and to protect my best friend, I told everyone I was the one he had violated, which wasn't really a lie. The rumor spread like wildfire, and after a few days, even the teachers were looking at him with disgust. He was isolated, and the only reason he wasn't bullied was because he was 6'3", 190 cm tall. I could have stopped there, but I didn't. When we were in our third year, I knew exactly which universities he applied to. By snooping in Connor's bag, I found his application numbers, so using those, I contacted every single university he applied to and explained the situation, providing screenshots of his conversation with my best friend, where he was threatening her with a defamation case if she attempted to press charges against him. She had sent them to me to rant about him, and I had kept them all this time. All of them thanked me, and he ended up not being able to get into any universities. He had to repeat his third year because of that, in an establishment where everyone knew what he had done, and all the first-year students would know that they had to avoid him at all costs. The next year, since I wasn't there to foil his applications, Connor was accepted at a university that I hadn't contacted the previous year. Unfortunately for him, I ended up learning which university he was going to and repeating the same process. There were former students of our high school at the university he was going to who spoke up to the university's mental health center about the inappropriate behavior he had with them and told them what kind of rumors there were against him. Since I had provided proof that the rumors were true, Connor was permanently expelled for the safety of the female students attending the university. So now he doesn't have a degree and nowhere else to go study, with no social life. His situation couldn't get worse, could it? Well, yes, I made it worse. Connor tried to move to another region where no one would know him and pass a diploma to work with kids. However, Connor is a phone addict and couldn't help but share on his social media that he had passed his diploma and started working as an educator for troubled kids and preteens. Little did he know, I had created an account pretending to be one of his only remaining high school acquaintances who I knew was chronically offline. With a bit of searching, I ended up finding his workplace and started the same process all over again. I also added a message he had left on my voicemail where he was panting, while telling me how hot I was at the age of 14, and how he would have loved to go back in time just to F me again. Needless to say, they got rid of him really quickly, fearing for the safety of the kids. I was planning on keeping him at all the places he was planning to work, but his previous workplace took care of that for me. I don't know how, but according to Connor's social media, they managed to get him blacklisted on a national level, technically invalidating his diploma. Due to this, he couldn't pay his rent anymore and ended up being homeless for a while before his mother accepted to take him back in. I'm friends with his older sister, who knows everything about it, and told the rest of the family what happened. From what she's told me, everyone cut off ties with both Connor and his mother, including her. I'm still occasionally stalking his social media to see if he's trying to get back on his feet. The last time I checked was today, right before writing all of this. So saying two people ended up isolating him both socially and from his family. As long as I'm alive, he has no chance of ever getting a girlfriend. He lives in the region where he spent his high school years, so no one would hire him even as a cleaner, and he even spent some nights in the street. Honestly, at this point, It's impressive that no one tried to harm him physically, make him go through what he made me and my best friend go through, or even end his life. Go to hell, Connor. And trust me when I tell you that you'll have to wait for me to unalive before even thinking about starting to have a normal life. Update hash. So, something happened in the past few weeks. Just before the Christmas holidays, actually. In the last paragraphs of my story, I stated that I'm still occasionally stalking Connor's social media to see if he is trying to get back on his feet. Well, he did. He tried to get back on his feet. As I was scrolling, I saw he said he is a shareholder of a brand new fitness brand he works for. I found this odd, since I know he can't afford to move from his mother's house, and he failed his driver's license and can't afford to try again, so he can't drive. In other words, he's stuck in the small city where our high school is, with thousands of people who know his name and face and are aware of what he has done. It's near impossible to find a job in these conditions, and I don't see what skills or qualifications he could use to get an online job. By doing some digging, I found the infamous fitness brand and did a bit of searching on their website. I found out that not only is he not on the list of their shareholders, but what he actually got into is a pyramid scheme. I pushed him in a corner so much that I made him join a pyramid scheme in a desperate attempt to get out of the situation I put him in. He created a second social media account to sell their crap, and never got more than 5 likes on a post. At first, before realizing that this was a pyramid scheme, I was like, alright, you know the drill at this point. And I was preparing myself to get him fired just like I did before. But now that I know what kind of business this is, I'll just leave him in his own mess. Not only would I be doing him a favor by pulling him out of there, but I don't even know if I could if I really wanted to. They seem shady enough to not care about having felons on their team. Here, only 3 types of crimes are considered felonies: taking someone's life, whether it's murder, terrorism, manslaughter, etc., and printing fake money. Of course, aggravating circumstances apply. All other charges are considered at most misdemeanors, which doesn't mean they can't get you locked up for a few years. This might be the one and only time I'll ever be thankful for the existence of pyramid schemes. I don't even know what kind of damage they can potentially do to him, and for now I don't see how he could be a threat to anyone. From what I gathered on his social media accounts, it doesn't look like he's in contact with people at the same level as him. If that has to change, I'll warn them individually. But for now, I finally don't have to worry about this problem for a while, that is, until he inevitably gets out of there. Finding this out truly lifted a weight off my shoulders, to the point that I had almost forgotten I had this information. It's liberating, I would say, to finally be at peace. It had not happened in a few years. One thing doesn't change though. Go to hell, Connor. And trust me when I tell you that you'll have to wait for me to unalive before even thinking about having a normal life. Thank you for watching the video.